as they had such an excellent tournament. Niemela plays almost every situation. Not a big guy, but plays with his head. He defends with his feet. He's got a good stick. He moves the puck simply and always seems to get it to the forward at the right time in the right place. This year in the Finnish Elite League, he's got 24 points in 31 games. Just an outstanding young prospect for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
There have been some close calls between these countries in the past, including one last year, but the Finns are 23-0 all-time against Germany. James?
All right, thank you, boys. Again, the first of a quartet of games on this day. Russia and Sweden a little bit later on from Red Deer. Massive opener for both of them. Neither medaled last year. Czechia and Canada, 4:30 local time for the pregame show, 6:30 Eastern. And then the U.S. against a pretty good Slovakia team wraps things up from Red Deer at 7:30 Mountain, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Bob, Finland was gold or bust at this tournament for 14 straight years, but won bronze last year. If they want to get back on the podium, who has to be good?
Well, you've got 10 returning players from last year's team, so they are a veteran-laden team, and Ronnie Hervin in the Toronto Maple Leaf prospect is on their top line, so he'll go a long way towards determining that. But so will this guy, Kasper Seeman-Taival, who played so well last year as an 18-year-old, now comes back as a 19-year-old. He had 4 goals and 7 points last year. We watched him in the pre-tournament game on December 23rd versus the Americans. He was the most high-energy, high-skill, dominant player on the ice, so Seeman-Taival will be important. And this German team is clearly undermanned. You mentioned it. No Tim Stützle, no J.J. Peterka, no Lucas Reichel. There's an entire top line that's missing for a country like Germany. That could be a real tough go in this tournament.
Second straight opening day meeting between Finland and Germany, and I mentioned the 45th anniversary of this tournament. Finland and West Germany were two of the original 8 teams back in 1977 when the World Juniors were born in Czechoslovakia. The opener of the 2022 tournament right after this.
The 2022 World Junior Hockey Championship is presented by Esso, proudly fueling Hockey Canada since 1984. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey teams. By TELUS, we're using the power of our purpose to help make the world a better place. Together, let's make the future friendly. And by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of Team Canada.
This year, Canadian Tire donated $12 million to Jumpstart to help protect youth sport in Canada. So kids could get back to play. Back to pride in a jersey. Back to building each other up. And belonging to the game. Thanks to Jumpstart, over 225,000 kids are back to making memories. And we're committed to helping even more kids get back in the game.
Whether it's watching the game with friends, pizza night with the family, or date night for 2, this holiday season, give the gift of special occasions. Get a free $10 promo card when you buy a $50 gift card from Boston Pizza. Because nobody regifts pizza.
So you rich yet?
Since I switched to Questrade, the lower fees are making a big difference.
It sounds complicated.
Please, Questrade makes it easy. They have different investing options, including Quest12's portfolios, which they manage for you. You're not still investing with mom and dad's guy, are you?
It's time to switch to Questrade, Canada's #1 rated online broker. Learn more at questrade.com.
In 1824, George Smith created the Glenlivet, a single malt whiskey that's defied convention ever since. Original taste never settles.
The 2022 World Junior Hockey Championship is brought to you in part by Skip the Dishes. Cheer on our team in true Canadian style with your favorite order on Skip, the official food delivery app of Team Canada. It's game time, Canada. Let's get hungry. And by the 2022 Chevrolet Silverado, the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Welcome back to Edmonton. It's day 1 of the 2022 World Junior Hockey Championship, and the opening game has Finland taking on Germany. They met last year. Finland took a 3-0 lead, but hung on for a 5-3 win over the Germans, who only had 14 skaters dressed in that game. The officials are Adam Blosky from Canada, Andreas Herdebring from Sweden, the linesman Josef Spur from Czechia, and Brett Mackey from Canada. Starting goaltender for Germany is 18-year-old Nikita Kwap, who plays for Krefeld in the German Elite League. He's a Carolina 6th-round pick in 2021, one of 10 Carolina draft picks playing in this tournament. And for the Finns, it's 19-year-old Levi Marilainen, plays for Kingston in the Ontario League. He got up to a slow start this year, but then won his last 6 starts before departing for the Finnish camp. Head coach for Germany is Tobias Abstreiter, 3rd year as the coach of the national junior team. He played in the World Junior in 1988, 1989, and in the Salt Lake City Olympics in 2002. And for the Finns, in his 2nd year as the head coach of the national junior team, is Antti Pennanen, an assistant coach with their 2016 World Junior gold medalist team and their 2019 Men's World Championship team. So the Germans last year, Ray, had lots of adversity early on. They had 10 positive COVID tests before the tournament began. They played shorthanded to begin it, but they won their last 2 games and gave the Russians a test in the quarterfinal.
Yeah, 2-1 loss to Russia. It was really remarkable watching how the Germans stayed with it, undermanned, just trying to hang around the games. They played hard and really gave Russia all they could handle in that quarterfinal.
And the Finns went on to beat Russia in the bronze medal game last year. Finland's the home team has the last change. Florian Elias is a returnee from last year for the Germans, who have made 29 appearances previously at the World Junior Championship and never won a medal. They were relegated in 2015. Took them 5 years to get back. And that's moved in by Luka Munzenberger, their lone drafted player, a 3rd-round pick of Edmonton in 2021.
Of the players not with the Germans this year, J.J. Peterka and Tim Stutzla, of course, were part of that amazing first line for the Germans last year. Both of them had 10 points in the tournament. It's going to be difficult to replace that.
Lucas Reichel, who didn't play last year for Germany due to COVID issues, was injured playing for Rockford, the American League, also not available. And they also lost a player from Gatineau, Håkan Hanhelt, who suffered a shoulder injury. So the Germans are somewhat short-handed in this tournament before it begins. And the Finns as well. Atu Ratti, now their draft pick, tested positive for COVID prior to the tournament. He's out of protocol now, but the deadline to play in the tournament was December 15th. You had to be here in quarantine by the 15th, and so he's unavailable.
As is Thomas Bordelot with the United States, same sort of deal. Tested positive, is out of protocols now, but was not in Alberta in time to join the U.S. team.
Brad Lambert tries to move that ahead for the Finns. Lambert draft eligible for the upcoming season. Chris Cross is there with Sammy Helenius. And moved along by Maximilian Blotzel, who plays for Cologne in the DEL, the top German league. German hockey's been on a bit of a roll of late. Of course, Leon Draisaitl won the MVP in the NHL 2 years ago, and Moritz Seider this year might be the Rookie of the Year playing for the Detroit Red Wings on defense. Kalle Väisänen. After that loose puck, Väisänen in the corner with it. A Ranger 4th-round pick. Had it knocked off his stick, and here's Jakub Borzecki. Borzecki's dad played for Poland in the 1997 World Junior, their only ever appearance at the top level. Now playing for Germany. He was born in New York when his dad was playing in North America. Topi Niemela, number 7 for Finland. Slides that ahead. And hard after it is Joel Mato, plays for the University of Vermont in the NCAA. And that long shot is stopped by Nikita Kwap. So we mentioned the Germans got relegated in 2015. 9th in 2020, 6th last year. There was no relegation last year. There will be this year. So the game that Germans likely have circled in their calendar, Ray, would be against Austria on New Year's Eve.
To stay out of that play-in or play-out tournament, the 2 of 3 that they play with the last place team of Group B.
That shot taken by Alexei Hemosalmi, who was the top defenseman at the under-18 tournament in Texas last spring. This Finnish defense is mobile. We saw it the other day in their pre-tournament game against the United States. Move the puck.
But most of it is done simply. Like, it's not a complicated team. They play fast, they play direct, and they play hard. It's been that way with the Finns for as long as I can remember.
There's Salmi, a Carolina second-round pick. We'll be saying that a lot throughout the tournament about Carolina draft picks.
10 of them here.
And there's a heavy presence on this Finnish roster as well to go along with all the guys they've got in Raleigh right now. Brought in by Noah Dunham. Dunham shoots. That's knocked away by Marilainen. Bouncy puck in front. Another shot. This by Leonhardt. And a good stop by Marilainen.
Pretty aggressive start here for the Germans. They want a forecheck. They want to get up the ice, pressure as much as they can.
That lead pass for Joachim Kemmel misfired. Kemmel's also draft eligible for the 2022 NHL draft. He trained in Southern Ontario in the summer with Gary Roberts, the fitness guru.
To say he's draft eligible might be underselling him. His name is going to be called pretty early in that draft.
And here's
a
Lambert.
Terrific prospect.
Lambert in the corner. Stick got tangled up with the official. That allows the Germans to break free. Borzecki moves in. And was poke check there. And the puck was knocked away by Putio. Kasper Putio, one of 10 returnees Bob McKenzie talked about at the start of the show for the Finns from last year's team. And they've got 7 players who are young enough to return next year. Lambert reaching forward, it bounced away from him. The puck loose along the boards. We mentioned the Finns took an early 3-0 lead in the Germans last year, but the Germans really battled back. And Tobias Abstrader, their coach, was telling us this morning that his message to his team is stay with it. There'll be some adversity. There'll be times when you seem like you're down, but to stick with it. And we got our first power play of the game. It's coming to Finland as Maximilian Schubert goes off for interference.
It's the one thing that when you're an underdog team, we talk about it year after year, is that you don't want to give the favorite an opportunity that you don't have to. And so here's an interference penalty. If Schubert just lets him go at this point, he's fine. The puck's gone. It's an easy call for the officials to make. The Finns get the game's first power play. And the two guys that jump out here, of course, are Niemela and Simon Taivel, who is going to get the puck pretty quickly here.
And Roni Hirvonen, the captain, with a hard shot there, stopped by Quap. Here's Hirvonen. Drops it back to Mayenpa. Mayenpa plays that back to the point. Kept alive by Putio. For Niemela. Hirvonen centers it. That's knocked away. Good defensive play made by Josef Eha. Niemela in, shoots, deflected. Good stop there by Quap.
No, there are those two players, Niemela and Simon Taivel, that combine on this. We saw the early shot by Hirvonen, who can really rifle the puck, but Niemela's always got his head up. He's going to attack, and he sees the stick of Simon Taivel is open and available. He snaps this pass to him, and the deflection is a difficult one, and it hits the upper arm of Quap, who makes the good stop.
Simon Taivel wins the drawback, but Niemela couldn't handle it. 8 points in 7 games last year for the Finns. Simon Taivel up ahead for Hirvonen. And Hirvonen trying to poke that free. They're kind of along the boards by Jussi Peterson. And a 5-man scrum ensues for the puck. And continues. Might need a new one after this shift.
Not going to be around.
Mayenpa plays it back across. Putio, a shot. Quap save. Loose puck in front. Put wide by Simon Taivel.
What a nice play by Putio as he one-timed that pass to the front of the net. He's a Florida 5th rounder, and he snapped that in tight to Hirvonen and Simon Taivel right on top of the crease.
Niemela drops it back for Lambert. In comes Brad Lambert. He's taken down. Leonhardt got a stick on him. He looked back at the official. Here's Alexei Hemosalmi. Playing for Asat Pori in the SM Liga, the Finnish Elite League. And Lambert breaks it out. Brad Lambert's dad, Ross, is from Kindersley, Saskatchewan. Spent a long time in Finland. Kemmel with it. Kemmel. Back for Hemosalmi. For Kapanen. Kapanen drops it back. Hemosalmi, a shot. Got through, and Quap made the save as the penalty to Schubert expires. No scoring on the power play. 7 gone here in the first period.
You can't shut down the neighbors, but you can shut down your toughest cold and flu symptoms with NyQuil Complete. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head so you can rest. Medicine.
At Subway, we don't have to use Canadian farm-raised seasoned chicken or double the Canadian cheddar. But how else would we pack this much melt and crunch into one sandwich? New Ultimate Cheddar Grillers, grilled to thrill. Only at Subway.
Bad Boy, the new masculine fragrance by Carolina Herrera.
Good Girl, feminine fragrance by Carolina Herrera.
Gatorade, with electrolytes to help replenish what's lost in sweat. Carbs to help fuel your working muscles. And fluids to help you hydrate. Rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Scientifically formulated, so you never stop competing. Gatorade.
Good chances for the Finns on the power play. Their best are off a couple of shot passes. Look at how quickly Puutio sees Hirvonen off the back door, and as he one-times that puck, that's directed as a pass. Oh, it hits the skate of Hirvonen as he's trying to deflect it. Simon Taivel actually gets a second swat at it, and he pushes it wide of the net. 3 really good chances for the Finns on that opening power play. The Germans hang in and kill the penalty.
Florian Elias, the German captain, steps in for the faceoff, plays for Adler Mannheim in the DEL. An important player for them last year. He had 4 goals for Germany. And Elias with a quick shot there, and the stop made by Merolainen. Elias centering pass on a quick shot there, taken by Szymanski. That's turned away by Merolainen. Another good scoring chance for Germany. Brought up now by Ronnie Karvinen. Karvinen playing internationally for Finland for the first time, which is unusual for them to have a player at this level who's never played for them before. Their under 16, under 18 programs are quite developed. Ruben Rafkin plays that back across, and that shot rattles wide by Emil Viro. Rafkin was ejected from the pre-tournament game against the United States for a knee-on-knee collision. Karvinen plays it back in the corner. Trying to dig that free is Bison, and knocked away from him, and a bouncing puck at center ice. Schweiger goes after it. In comes Schweiger, and Emil Viro ranged back and took that away.
Viro was impressive the other day in that pre-tournament game. Really a smooth player, moved the puck well, a Detroit third-rounder.
And now brought in by Volek. Volek centers it, that pass got away. A chance now for the Finns the other way. Simon Taivel crisscrossing there with Hirvonen. In comes Hirvonen, winds it and shoots. That's gloved by Quap. And Quap will hang on to that.
The Germans have had a couple of decent moments, but the forecheck is going to be where they generate a lot of their chances. A little 3-man game in the corner, tight puck movement, and Szymanski gets inside of the Finnish defense. He forces Merolainen into a pretty good stop, but that's nice work out of the corner. They get tight together, move the puck quickly, and get it to the front of the net.
Face-off won by the Germans and moved ahead by Noah Dunham. His dad, Jason, is from Edmonton. Now the GM of Straubing in the German Elite League. Well, we should point out your son Landon is playing and scored today.
Yeah, had a good game today. They won in overtime, and actually one of his teammates, Max Glutzel, is number 22, and they always kid him that he's about 38 years old because he's a big, strong guy, and they're like, he acts like he's an older guy. He's just 19 years old.
In comes Kemmel with a shot, and that's off the blocker of Quap. Joakim Kemmel, 12 goals in 21 games in Finland's top league for Jyväskylä.
That's remarkable production for a 17-year-old. That's not an easy league.
Adrian Klein moves in now for Germany. Klein feeds that back to Rosmi, a long shot. That went through the traffic and wide. Otavainen trying to clear that up. Another chance for the Germans, and 2 good stops there by Merolainen. The first on UC Peterson, who had a good shot. Play continues as Glotzel took his man in. Otavainen in the corner with it, gets squeezed there by Luka Munzenberger. And trying to chip that free was Borzecki, now loose at center ice and brought back by Lambert. In comes Lambert. Returning from last year, a centering chance. And that's shot by Koivunen, turned away by Quap.
Couple good stops early for Quap.
You know, Koivunen got tangled up there with the linesman. Gathers it back up and spins back in the corner. Billy Koivunen. Amos-Salmi, a long shot kicked up by Quap. That's the key for Germany, don't you think, Ray? If they get good goaltending.
Well, it's imperative, right? Like, there's going to be moments in the games where they get hemmed back in their zone. They're going to need those stops, but you can't, as we see year after year, just expect that the goalie's going to stop 55 shots. Eventually, you've got to forecheck like they did. Create a couple of chances, but it all starts with the goaltender. And I guess for the Finns, they've for years had excellent goaltending as well as. And Merolainen is their latest here, as he's going to have to make two really good left and right pad stops. Here's that pass from Niemela we talked about earlier. Kemmel ends up with the shot, but Niemela delivers the puck so quickly at the right time to the right player. It opens up that rush that Kemmel gets the shot on.
Pavarinta, a shot that was blocked, and now Niemela steps back up. Looks down to Väisänen, centering pass, and that's knocked wide by Pavarinta. Niemela being harassed there by Schweigel. The puck loose at center ice for Justin Volek, who was the most penalized player in last year's World Junior Championship.
I thought they have 27 penalty minutes last year in 4 games. That's a lot.
Long backhand shot by Maciek Rukowski. No score here in the first period. 8:52 to go in the first.
Hockey fans, get your Hockey Canada gear at shop.hockeycanada.ca, the official online store of Hockey Canada, and the largest selection of Hockey Canada gear anywhere. Get jerseys, men's and women's tees, hoodies, headwear, and more. Don't miss out. Shop now and get today's special offer. Shop.hockeycanada.ca, a Fanatics experience.
This is where we go. This is where we come alive. This is where we come alive. Out of the shadows and into the light.
Time now for Let's Get Hungry, brought to you by Skip the Dishes, and we take a closer look at 19-year-old Topi Niemela, who was picked by the Toronto Maple Leafs in the 3rd round of the 2020 draft. He led all D-men in points last year, was named the top defenseman of the tournament, and this year, as you mentioned, Ray, as a 19-year-old in a top European league, having an excellent year with 24 points rather in 31 games.
What I'd like to see as he gets older, and we'll end up seeing it, is how he defends against the bigger guys, the stronger guys. And he does it with his feet. He does it with his stick positioning. You just can't get yourself into those physical battles because you're not big enough. He's smart. I think he's a really good prospect.
Listed at 5'11", 170. Alexander Blank stripped the puck away, but Simon Tybel has it back now. Simon Tybel works it. Scored a goal for the Finns in their pre-tournament game. Drops it off for Rafkin. Ruben Rafkin played for Windsor in the OHL a couple of years ago. And that pass knocked away. The Finns regroup. Hirvonen fires it back down. Took a bad bounce in the corner. Now a centering pass knocked away from Hirvonen. And a race forward at center ice as Rutkowski goes after, but elects to go off on a chain. Finns will play Austria tomorrow. Germany has the Czechs tomorrow. Running now by Mayenbach. Plays that back to Ottavainen, and Putu a long shot. That deflects wide. Daniel Leonard banks it back to center ice. Leonard plays for Salzburg in the Ice Hockey League. A number of the German players would play at the Red Bull Academy or in Salzburg, where they have junior teams, and then will come up and play for big teams in the DEL. Red Bull is the primary feeding ground of Munich in the DEL.
Always one of the strongest teams in the league. But their youth programs are where most of the development in that area happens.
Picked on the corner by Lambert. Lambert, a long shot, score! That was deflected in front by Hellenius. And the Finns have grabbed a 1-0 lead.
Isn't this the way, after all the great chances that the Germans have had, really difficult saves for Nikita Kwap to make? It's a wrist shot by Brad Lambert that just kind of floats towards the net. It's going to hit a body about halfway to the net right here. Oh, I think that hits the German defender who's going back to the net with Hellenius. Yeah, right there. I don't think that hits Hellenius at all. This to me looks like Brad Lambert's goal. We'll get a better look here. Oh, through the legs of Hellenius off the body of Jussi Peterson, and that'll be Lambert's first goal in the tournament. It's also his first goal in his last 2 tournaments, as he was here last year and did not score.
So teammates with Jyväskylä in the Finnish league. Combined there is the hulking Sami Hellenius, who's 6'6", 215 pounds. Provides a screen, and now we got a penalty coming to the Finns. It'll be a high sticking call with 6:56 to go in the first period. Sami Pivarinta goes off.
Team Finland, minor penalty, high stick.
Also, Germany will get a chance right moments after giving up the 1-0 goal to get back to a level playing field, as their power play will get their first attempt of the tournament. Oh, there's the high stick as Pavarinta is trying to lift the stick of Szymanski, ends up clipping him in the visor. So here's the German power play, first time in the tournament.
Blank for the face-off, wins it back to Schweiger. Munzenberger back on the point. Takes the return pass from Szymanski. Munzenberger to Blank. Takes the tap back from Volek. Munzenberger trying to feed that across. That was poked away by Joel Mata. And the Germans regroup. Look at Munzenberger. Trying to slide that back in, knocked away and back down the ice by Väisänen. Blank. Drops that back to Schubert. The lead pass for Schweiger. A race for it. Schweiger gets there, but it's knocked away, and Niemela rings it around the boards and back down. Here is Maximilian Schubert. Swings it back across to Daniel Leonard. Leonard back across to Rutkowski. Germans having trouble getting established here on the power play as Schubert steps up.
It's interesting watching the Finns, man. Do they swarm the puck? When there's a loose puck, it's not one player on it, it's 2 and then 3. Germany's going to have to counteract that.
Now Schubert, a long shot, knocked down with Maryland, and still loose in front, and that's knocked away by Kapanen, who sends it back down. Oliver Kapanen, whose uncle Sandy was a long-time NHL player. His father, Kimmo, was a long-time goalie in the Finnish league. He's a second-round pick of the Montreal Canadiens. Schweiger, 25 seconds to go in the German power play, rather, feeds that in. 2 Finns collided. That creates some room for a moment as Hellenius fell. Now Munzenberger back at the point, walks it and shoots. That's knocked away. Blank tried to center it, knocked down by Niemela. His clearing attempt was knocked down by Schweiger. Second try, again knocked down, but this time it comes out, and away comes Hellenius. Dad played 150 NHL games, most of them for the Calgary Flames, and there's about 13 feet between the 2 of them. They're both about 6'6".
That's a large meal if those 2 guys are together.
2 shots for the Germans on that power play. Now brought in by Rosby with a chance. And loose in front was Josef Iam, who just couldn't quite get his stick on that. Iam back with it. Taken down hard by Rafkin. 4.5 to go in the opening period. That puck goes over and out, and the officials conferring here, and this may be a penalty to the Finns for delay of game. 4:23 to go here in the first period. Germany going back to the power play.
Move over and make room for Ali. We surely can find them a place. Move over and make room for Ali. Since Ali is one of our days.
Sarah Nurse moving in front. There's a goal from Canada.
We surely can find them a place.
Let's make room on the bench. Help us make the game we love more inclusive. Submit your good deeds at ChevroletGoodDeedsCup.ca to win $100,000 for charity.
Just after killing off the first German power play, Finland is shorthanded again as Ville Otavainen flips this puck up over the glass. And Otavainen, who had a goal in the pre-tournament game against the U.S. a couple of days ago, sits for 2, and Germany back to the power play.
Germans had 2 shots on their last man advantage. And blank for the face-off, but it's won by Finland's Oliver Kapanen. Bouncing puck in front, knocked down now by the Germans who get set up. Here's Munzenberger. Feeds across to blank. Schweiger tried to tap that back. It's picked off and sent down the ice by Kapanen. Now blank. Drops that back to Munzenberger. Up for blank, and that plays offside at the finish line. .356 to go here in the opening period, and the face-off outside the finish line.
And a little trouble getting in the first power play before they got set. Now they go offside at the blue line. Entries not been very smooth for the Germans on their first 2 power plays. And last year their entry was give it to Tim Stützle and have him enter the zone.
It was a 2-man power play. Stützle and J.J. Peterka did the work. Leonard tries to center it, takes the return pass from Borzecki. Schubert back across to Elias. Banks that down for Rutkowski, bounced away from him. Loose in the corner now. Leonard feeds that back. Elias works in, shoots, that hit the foot of Kalle Väisänen. Now the puck back to Elias, sends it back in front. Good chance there for Germany's Maciek Rutkowski, but he's turned away point blank by Marilainen. By the way, the first finished goal does go to Brad Lambert. It's unassisted. So as you mentioned, he gets his first at the World Championship. Schubert up for Schweiger.
Man, that linesman has been run into a couple of times. He's had a tough first period.
Brett Mackey got squeezed there just inside the Finnish blue line.
One at each line.
20 seconds to go on the power play. Blank winds in. Drops it back to Szymanski. And Szymanski feeds it back down, but the pass is picked off by Putio. Got it by Schweiger in the corner. Final seconds now, the power play. Blank on it. Volek centers it for Schweiger. Can't get a shot away. Schweiger drops it back, and a quick shot there rattled wide by Szymanski. 1 shot for the Germans on that power play. Still 1-0 Finland in the final stages now of the first period. Later today, Canada takes on Czechia in its tournament opener. The country formerly known as the Czech Republic, as prior to the tournament to be known internationally now as Czechia. And the uniforms say Česko. This is going to be a minefield for you.
Oh, boy. I saw them warming up. They've got Czech Republic on their T-shirts. It's like...
After the shot goes off the foot of Ahab. Picked back up by Manpop. Puts that wide of the goal, trying to find Kapanen. Oliver Kapanen tied up. And now Kemmel comes back for it. Joachim Kemmel drops it off. Emil Salmi brings it back around. And the puck picked up by Fabrizio Pilu. And Pilu plays it back across. Ahab, with 80 seconds to go in the period, flips that back down to the Finnish zone. And Ruben Rafkin goes back to pick it up. Rafkin played just 1 game last year for the Finns. Who's injured in the tournament. Simon Taival finds Joel Mata. In comes Herman, and centering pass just missed Simon Taival.
Simon Taival and Hirvonen are the two most dangerous Finnish forwards. They almost connect right there.
Puck goes into the German bench with 58 seconds to go, and there's the linesman, Brett Mackey.
Oh, so there's the first one. Whoops, he's trying to get out of the way. I mean, there's nowhere to go, but he's like, oh, man, I just got run over. And here he is at the blue line, and there's nowhere to go again. He's like a cork. I mean, it's tough to get by him right now.
Adrian Klein. Up ahead for Szymanski. Elias trying to work his way in. And Niemela back to pick it up. Moved up by Joel Mata. He was poke check from behind. And as Schweiger did that, the play is offside at the German line. So the Finns, like a lot of countries, are disappointed that NHL players are not going to the Olympics. Finland really felt that they might have iced their best ever team with NHL players at the Olympics. Think about Alexander Barkov, Mikko Rantanen, Sebastian Aho, Patrick Laine, Miro Heiskanen on defense.
They have, for years, been thought of, right, as the goalie producers. And then, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, they started to produce these high-end skaters, forwards, defensemen. Now we see Heiskanen, one of the best defensemen in the league, and the forwards you mentioned. I mean, they're...
Now Putti a long shot, Quap to save you. Jesse Puljujärvi, who plays here in Edmonton.
They're in a golden age right now. This is a remarkable group of talented young Finnish players.
Volek brings it back the other way to Blank. Final seconds down the period. Blank works in, plays it back across. That pass misfired and is tapped back by Rutkowski. Luxemburger. That shooting goes off Viro. And the Finns will go to the dressing room with a 1-0 lead.